Hi guys, welcome to this new episode of this international student podcast, Beyond the Passport. My name is Juan Camilo. We're going to talk about my story in New Zealand, how I ended up here, and all of the possible situations that you can encounter when you have an immersion in a different culture. So I came to New Zealand in 2019, the 15th of March of 2019, and I came here in order to study English. So I did a couple of courses of English, general English, and after that, I always wanted to study something a little bit higher in an education level. So I always thought about to do a master or do a specialization in English in order to finalize my professional profile in New Zealand. So I think one of the first steps that you have to do when you move overseas is think what you want to do. I made this mistake when I came here, and was that I didn't know what I want to do. I didn't know that I wanted to stay here and I wanted to actually build a life here. So definitely I think one of my first mistakes, or the things that I realized when I was here, was that I didn't have a plan. And definitely, if you are going to move overseas, is something that you have to do. You have to design a plan. You have to think about consequences and advantages of what you're going to do, because otherwise it's going to take more time for you and it's going to be more traumatic as well for you as well. I think once I got here, I kind of underestimate what was gonna happen with me and how the situation what was gonna be. I didn't realize that the change was gonna be really shocking for me, and of course I had culture shock. Talking about this and investigating a little bit, I realized that culture shock is divided in four phases. So the first phase of culture shock is actually the phase of honeymoon, is how is it called, is the period of time where you actually are living the dream. You literally are exploring everything. You are literally visualizing yourself like if you were on holidays. So you are going to new restaurants, you are going to parties, you are meeting new people, and this is awesome. But the problem with this stage is that you overreact and you overplan and you overestimate what is gonna happen in the future, because everything is just about excitement. After that, it comes the frustration phase. This phase usually has a period of between 6 months or a year, is where you start to question about everything. This is what I want. This is what I came for. This is what I actually want to do with my life. And if there are language barriers, they are going to become a little bit more noticeable, because you are literally blocked, and all of these inner thoughts and self destructive thoughts that you're having are limiting yourself. So that's also limiting your language. And if you are studying, you are going to see that you are not going to have the same progress that you used to have when you started. There is a good thing, and this that this phase doesn't take too long. Depends of how resilient the person is gonna take longer or shorter, but the normal length for this phase is between 6 months and a year. After that, we encounter new phase is called the adjustment phase. Is when you start to realize that everything is under control, that you can do this, that the language is not actually a problem, that you can actually work under these circumstances, and you start to move on with your life. You start to set up routines as well. And it's awesome because you are learning about those previous mistakes that you made and you are moving forward. This phase is very, very short. This is a phase that takes around 3 months to 6 months, depending on how well you develop these routines, and you are going to move forward a new stage that is called the adaptation stage. This is the last one, and is when you actually are set up, when you find a new job, when you encounter new friends and start to meet new people, when you start to connect with new links, and you feel that the differences that you experience at the beginning are not as big as you thought. All of this process could take a year or 2 years, depending on your personal growth and your personal experience. As my personal experience, and I think all of the experience are different, you are gonna see how you develop yourself. And I think living all of these phases are gonna give you new things, new skills, soft skills that you can actually be aware of once you finish all of this process, and you're gonna feel proud of yourself because you are gonna grow a lot as well. There are studies as well that we can actually talk about different syndromes that you can actually develop when you have immersion experience in another culture. So we have to talk about expat depression. This is a syndrome that is experienced by people who decide to move overseas. A counselor living in Spain called Chris Nails states that depression could be suffered by 50% of the people that move overseas. This is a huge number, taking into account that when you make the decision to move overseas, sometimes we don't think about the consequences that this could bring to our lives. And it's interesting as well because he says that between 8 to 20% of the people who move overseas actually suffer clinical depression. So this is a moment when you need to think about yourself, your own mental health, and you need to look for tools or medical resources in order to talk about the problems that you are going through. This is important. This is sometimes very delicate, and as a migrant, sometimes I know that we just try to move on the side and we don't express our feelings, but this is really important, and you need to be honest with yourself, and you need to actually look for tools or look for a professional in order to talk about this, because sometimes you can develop suicidal thoughts as well. You can damage yourself as well, and we need to prevent that as well. Also, a survey conducted by Athena International showed that 28% of the participants had depression, and only 6% of the people who had decided to move overseas thought about consequences as like mental health consequences, and how this was going to repercute in their mental health. So this is very important. It's actually very shocking. The number is very low, because we should think about this before we move to another country. And that's why I said that it's very important to make a plan, to know where you're gonna go and what you're gonna do in whatever country you decide to move. And also another psychologist, this one is called Cian Truman, based in America. He developed a study who shows that migrants are 2.5 times more closer to suffer depression and anxiety. Therefore, they are closer to develop um, abuse in substances, drugs, alcohol, and also develop depression thoughts as well. So we need to think about create links when we are living overseas. It's very important to be close to people that are feeling the same situations, but we need to also be assertive in order to don't be toxic with these links. What I'm saying is that we need to be in touch with people that are better than us, but no worse, because that also can repercute in our mental health as well. So I hope this information help, and I hope if you are having trouble whenever you are, please search on the internet. If you are in a English school or if you are in the university, most of the universities these days have counselors or have mental health department, and you can talk with them, you can go with them and ask for information if you need it. And don't be afraid to ask for information, because as I said before, you are not the only one that I have experienced these feelings. This is totally normal. This is part of the process. And after that, you are going to see that there is going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. So don't feel bad about it. And definitely, you are more than brave to actually overcome these situations. And even if you need to talk, you can just flick me a message as well. And I'm not an expert, but I have gone through this situation. So definitely is going to be worth it, or at least I can empathize with your feelings. So I've been in New Zealand for 6 years, already studying my master degree and in my first semester of my master degree. And I know that I had great days and I have days that were darker than others. And I feel great now, and I feel like with this platform, I'm gonna be able to help people that are going through these same situations right now. So thank you so much for your view. Thank you so much for this, and I hope you enjoy this podcast.